The Aggies on KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
KVNU News Time is 5:03. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Logan Extermination. A 61-year-old Logan man has been sentenced to 15 years to life in prison for shooting and killing a co-worker at a Millville construction site 2 years ago. Lorenzo Tina Vasquez was given the maximum sentence after briefly telling the court he was sorry. Tina Vasquez was sentenced on Wednesday afternoon in Logan's First District Court. He previously accepted a plea deal during a July trial, pleading guilty to murder, a first-degree felony, and discharge of a firearm reduced to a second-degree felony. Tina Vasquez shot and killed Ariano Nieto Yavani, a 29-year-old man, at a Millville home construction site on August 12, 2021. Tina Vasquez had told deputies that he and Yavani were co-workers and had been in a confrontation earlier that morning in which the victim had threatened him. He said that after the fight, he left the job site and went back to his home fearful for his family. He took a handgun and returned to the construction site, finding Yavani in a basement room and shooting him. During Wednesday's sentencing, Yavani's sister tearfully described how her family's lives had been shattered. She explained how her brother loved his wife and his 3 young children. She said he also had a passion for music, cooking, and being in the outdoors. Judge Brian Cannell said Tina Vasquez's actions were heinous and despicable on every level. He noted the defendant's excuse about defending himself was unbelievable and made no sense. KVNU News Time is 5:05. KVNU weather for tonight. Mostly cloudy skies is our forecast. Still a slight chance of rain showers this evening, then partly cloudy after midnight. Patchy fog after midnight, low in the low 30s. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny on Friday. Patchy morning fog, high around 60. Partly cloudy skies on Saturday, mid-60s for the high. It's been to 46. It's 45 is all right now at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. Bring back the sounds you've been missing. Schedule a free hearing evaluation with Dr. Paul Daines at Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology.
Even though the weather's grown colder, you still have time to have your fruit trees pruned. Logan Extermination says your trees need to be trimmed back in order to achieve success next year. And this is the first step to a bountiful harvest. However, you can do more bad than good if you don't know what you're doing. Save the headache and call Logan Extermination today and get a jump on tree pruning. Prices will vary depending on your needs. Logan Extermination, 752-8450.
KVNU News Time is 5:06. Attorneys have filed a second civil lawsuit against Operation Underground Railroad and founder Tim Ballard on behalf of 2 married plaintiffs who accuse Ballard of sexual assault and grooming behavior they say ultimately led to the married couple's separation. The lawsuit is similar to a complaint also filed in Utah's 3rd Judicial Court on Monday, in which 5 anonymous women say the anti-child trafficking activist exploited their religious faith and sexually assaulted them under the guise of the so-called couples ruse, where Ballard had women pose undercover as his wife or girlfriend to fool traffickers on purported rescue missions. The lawsuit accuses Ballard, whose career with the Department of Homeland Security was the inspiration for the film Sound of Freedom, of grooming women to take part in the couple's ruse. It also alleges that Ballard threatened the husband and that Ballard committed sexual assault and battery against the woman. Ballard has denied previous allegations, and a statement from an attorney for the Spear Fund, where Ballard serves as senior advisor, on Tuesday said Ballard vehemently denies the allegations brought by these unnamed women in the first lawsuit and looks forward to vindicating his name in the courts. And Utah House Speaker and U.S. Senate candidate Brad Wilson is facing accusations of fraud and breach of contract in a lawsuit filed last month, claiming he violated a business agreement. David Peterson, the former chief financial officer of Wilson's company, Destination Homes, accuses the Davis County Republican of refusing to pay interest on a $430,000 loan. In a statement, Wilson's attorney called the lawsuit baseless. Destination Homes co-founder David Bailey is also listed as defendant. Among the many claims in the 23-page complaint, Peterson alleges Wilson became a lawmaker so he could move the Utah State Prison from its former location in Draper to its current location by the Salt Lake City Airport in order for Destination Homes and later Newtown Development to develop that piece of property in Draper and to seek other sweetheart deals he could obtain by leveraging his position in the Utah House of Representatives. Because the company was short on money, Peterson claims he loaned $430,000 to Destination Homes so it could purchase Wheatfield Estates in Layton. The lawsuit claims there was an agreement for repayment with interest. KVNU News Time is 5:09. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
With the arrival of fall, potential heavy rainstorms, fallen leaves, and debris, the Cache Stormwater Coalition would like to remind you of a few things to be mindful of. Clean out all the leaves and debris from your rain gutters. Use a broom or rake to remove leaves and debris from the top of storm drains, as clogged storm drains can lead to flooding. Don't keep piles of yard waste in your yard, on the sidewalk, or street. Use a green waste recycle bin, and check with your local city office on where to place collected leaves for pickup. And when it snows, remember to keep the snow away from curb and gutter and storm drains. We can all make a difference if we do our part. Brought to you by the Cache Stormwater Coalition.
Many veterans in active duty military have invisible wounds like PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and anxiety. Help Heal Veterans offers them medicine that doesn't come in a bottle by providing free therapeutic craft kits, time-tested healing tools for invisible wounds that can help relieve pain and improve mobility and fine motor skills. HealVets.org, healing the invisible wounds of war through creativity. HealVets.org, sponsored by Help Heal Veterans.
Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
I'm Elizabeth Smart. Sexual exploitation and violence are unimaginable crimes that far too many people in our communities experience. In the U.S. alone, a person is sexually assaulted every 68 seconds. Every 9 minutes, that victim is a child. It's time these numbers change. Learn more about how you can join me in the fight against child sexual exploitation at malouffoundation.org.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. It is hour 2 of today's show. I'm Jason Williams, Bill Walter here in the studio as well. Coming up, we'll be speaking with Manny Smith. He's an independent wrestler here in Utah who's coming to town Saturday night for an event with his organization, which he calls his Zest of the Best. I love that. With Devotion Championship Wrestling has an event here in Cache Valley this weekend. And Dave Denton, who you may remember if you were a longtime listener to Cool 103.9, Dave now hosts the Turnbuckle Trash podcast. He'll actually be a ringside announcer for this event, and he's an expert on all things wrestling and the art of the craft, if you will. So that's coming up. I'm excited about that, something we normally don't get to talk about here on the show. Starting things off here, though, this hour, a very special guest joining us, representing an organization you should get familiar with, whether you're in business, looking at starting a business, just curious about your options, or maybe have been in business for years and you're looking about making some changes. The resources offered through the Cache Valley Chamber of Commerce are without compare, and you can see them all at cachechamber.com. Joining us right now to talk about their upcoming calendar and events and more, we have with us President and CEO of the Cache Valley Chamber of Commerce, Jamie Andrus. And Jamie, always a pleasure to have you join us. I feel like I say this every time, but it's true every time. There's a lot on the calendar.
Thanks, Jason, for having me. And yes, this is our busy time of year. And we might be a little overbooked and understaffed, but hey, that's how it works, right?
That's right. Where's the fun if you're not, right?
Right. Yes, yes.
This is, I'm really excited to talk about some of these things. And I know when we spoke last month, we kind of ran through a lot of the events on the calendar. And then we promised listeners that what we would do is come back and speak more specifically about the events as they're actually coming up. And our opportunity to do that with, and this, I'm so intrigued by this one because I've been actually reading about some state policy being proposed and discussed that fits right in this wheelhouse. But you have an upcoming manufacturing conference, and followed shortly after by the Cache Business Women's Conference, both this month, right?
That's correct. So before I talk again to you next month, we do have two major events, plus a couple of our regular monthly events. So the Northern Utah Manufacturing Excellence, so the nomenclature for that is NUMI. NUMI is putting on their second conference. This will be on October the 25th in the Cache County Event Center. This is a great opportunity for you to see the event center. One of the reasons they're having it at the event center is because one of the main sponsors for this event is Impact Utah. And one of their trainings is actually a pit crew challenge. And if you've never heard of a pit crew challenge, they bring in a retired race car and they teach teamwork and leadership around changing the tires as a pit crew would during a race. It's a very fun thing. So they'll actually have a car in the event center,
really,
along with some other really cool events. But it's a chance for our manufacturing community and other businesses as well to come and learn about some of the things that really pertain to our manufacturers, small manufacturers to large manufacturers. Really exciting.
So that's what seems unique to me about this event is putting these people in the same room, from those who might be in a big, vast, even multi-million-dollar facility manufacturing-wise, and those that are running a business out of an insulated garage or shed.
Correct.
Manufacturing.
Yeah.
And I know folks who do both here in Cache Valley, and you're bringing them all together.
Correct. We are so proud of this organization that it's just a few years old, and it's unique in the state of Utah. We've actually become a model for other chambers and other areas of the state to build an organization under a chamber specifically for manufacturing. But our Northern Utah Manufacturing Group it belongs to both the Box Elder Chamber and the Cache Valley Chamber. And what's unique about that, well, not unique, but it really serves the purpose because we have some of the biggest and many, many manufacturers between the two counties, as you can imagine. I mean, we see the big ones, but what we don't realize is we also have a lot of very small manufacturers.
Sure.
And this day is going to be so great. We're bringing in our state economist. He will talk about the status and our current economy, it's so great because he drills right down into, and he'll drill right down into Cache and Boxelder, northern Utah, forecasting. And I just have to make a plug for our keynote speaker at the end of the day is the director, the executive director of the Shingo Institute, which is a world-renowned institution that started at USU and is part of the School of Business. But it's an incredible organization, and you're going to learn a little bit about that. And it's one of those little secret things that happens right here in our valley that nobody knows about, but
Really?
people all over the world do.
That is very cool. This is, Jamie, I'm always fascinated when I dig into, years ago, I'm dating myself here because I just realized this is more than a decade ago, but Senator Bob Bennett used to host an annual event all over the district, but last time I attended was over at Maddox, and it was focused on manufacturing, and I remember learning about the things that are made in northern Utah and just being absolutely floored. That's where I learned that bowling balls are made in Brigham City, for example.
That's right.
I had never known that, but the list just went on and on and on. Now, you get to see a little bit of this.
Correct. And so come and find out and learn more about what we have in our manufacturers. I'm just going to keep it at that as a teaser, but it's very affordable. It's a kind of a half day event. It starts at 8. I think it'll be wrapping up about 1 in the afternoon. So it's not a full day. It's very affordable. Come register now and come and attend that great event.
That is on the calendar. Again, I've linked to it on our Facebook page, instructions on how to attend and more. But the NUMMI conference, the second annual Northern Utah Manufacturing Conference, is just one event on the calendar of many from the Cache Valley Chamber of Commerce. So stick with us. CEO and President of the Chamber, Jamie Andrus, our guest, and we'll be back right after this.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. We have some super exciting news. We're thrilled to announce our brand new store in Tooele. We have been hoping to expand to Tooele for years and finally found the perfect spot. In the heart of the city, Alpine is located just north of Walmart off Main Street. This store will be just like our others. We offer massive selection of home medical supplies. Do you need a CPAP? We've got it. Power scooter? Yep, you're in the right place. Need assistance in your home? We'll get you all set up. Keep your expectations high. We really do have the best staff in the state. You should know we accept most major insurances and can work directly with your provider to get you the care you need. We'll be ready when you need us, so come on by anytime. We're excited to see you in Tooele.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
That's alpinehomemedical.com.
It's time to show the Mountain West Conference that the Aggies will not be stopped.
It would be easy to get frustrated when things are not going perfect because they haven't. But, man, they put together a great week and took the challenge and went out and played.
Friday night, the Aggies host the Fresno State Bulldogs. Pre-game begins at 4, kickoff is at 6, and post-game and Aggie call immediately follows the game. It's the Aggies and the Bulldogs. Friday on News Talk KVNU, the heritage home for the Aggies.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Very special guest joining us the first half of this hour, CEO and President of the Cache Chamber of Commerce. I got to start pausing a little more when I say that, Bill. It sounds like I'm saying CEO and President of the Cache Valley Chamber of Commerce, Jamie Andrus, our guest. You can find them at cachechamber.com for more information, registration, and otherwise on all the events we've been discussing here. We spent some quality time on the upcoming second annual Northern Utah Manufacturing Conference That is Wednesday, October 25th. Details on how to register, what you can expect, and more at cashchamber.com. And Jamie, as you mentioned, that's just one. We're kind of skipping to the end of the month. That's only one of the several things just for October alone you have on the calendar: the Women in Business Luncheon, the regular Leadership Institute events, ambassador meetings, executive ambassador meetings to plan all of this out. You're involved with the Wicked Way 5K, I know, on October 14th. That's actually going to be really fun to see this weekend. Tell us a bit about this Women in Business conference that you have coming up.
Jason, this is our biggest, actually, largest event, our most well-attended conference of the year. We expect to sell it out. We had almost 300 women attend last year, a full-day conference full of really incredible speakers and networking opportunities. And I just want to say we're so excited that we're going to be hearing from Diana Sabo, our new athletic director at USU. She's going to be our lunch keynote speaker. We also have Becky Potts coming from the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. She works there now, but she has had an incredible career. She's going to be our opening keynote speaker. We'll have breakout speakers, and we also always have a really great vendors, lots of businesses and opportunities for women to come, fill their bucket, network, and learn some really great leadership skills and other things that help them in their businesses and in their workplace. So we're super excited about it. One of the components that we started last year is our Women in Business does an auction. There will be a silent auction, and that'll be raising money for scholarships for women. And the Women in Business organization has been doing this for quite some time, but we found that we got a lot bigger audience, 300 women coming and helping other women with scholarships. And these are traditional scholarships that they select really great candidates, and these are scholarships that are from Bridgerland Technical College, USU, traditional scholarships, if you will. But a new thing we're doing this year is we're going to have a jewelry component, and this is where women can donate any gently worn, used jewelry that they no longer use, and then we're going to be selling that to all of the people who come for a really, really reasonable price. And the money that we raise for this will also be given in scholarship form to women, but it'll be a little bit different than traditional scholarships. It will be for a leadership development and career development type of trainings for women. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Very nice. This is the event again is November 1st, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Riverwinds Conference Center. The theme for the Cash Business Women's Conference is Building Together. And a quick note, if you're out there and would like to inquire about a sponsorship or vendor opportunity with the Cash Chamber of Commerce for this upcoming women's conference, the information is at cashchamber.com, or you can call 752-2161. This is a unique opportunity for those. And Jamie, I assume we're talking all different types and sizes of businesses again here, right?
Absolutely. And many of our bigger businesses send a handful of women, or 10 or 15. Nucor Steel is one of our major sponsors. Not what you would typically think, right?
Sure.
For the Cash Women's Business Conference. USU, Cache Valley Bank, Alta Bank, many of the women who work and in various roles. And then we see a lot of great women who are individual business owners, just starting a business, established business owners. We're very excited about that. And it's just a really fun event. It's very educational, and women come away with some with a really great experience.
That is very cool. This is, if you want to support it, if you want to attend, if you just want to read more before you make your decision, again, all of the information you need on this, and as we discussed before the break, the manufacturing conference as well, at cashchamber.com. We never have enough time to go through everything you've got on the calendar, Jamie, and that's what I love about the Chamber. But again, for everyone out there, you know, I always feel like we should drive this home because many people I talk to, Jamie, in business feel that the Chamber isn't for them. You know, this is for folks who are maybe sitting in the office at iFit or you know, one of the big food processors. But the Chamber is for any business, whether it's just you and 2 employees, you and 100 employees. That's all of this fits, right?
That's correct. That is exactly right. And just let me say too that we do support many other community activities, individual cities and towns. We were just part of the Giant Pumpkin Festival. We were on that committee. We've helped with the Cheese and Dairy Festival. So Chambers, we do everything we can to support what goes on in all of Cache Valley. And it's just an exciting place to be involved. So come and join us. This is a call out for if you're a member. If you're not a member, you can still attend our events. Come check it out. Next Tuesday is our monthly luncheon. We have one every month on the third Tuesday at the Riverwoods. So next Tuesday is our regular leadership lunch, and we're going to have a terrific speaker as well next week. So come join us.
Jamie, always a pleasure to have you here on the show and talk about everything the Chamber is up to. And we'll do it again next month. And I'm sure you'll have a whole new list for us, right?
I will, Jason. You know I will.
Oh, always a pleasure. And thank you for making time for us today.
You bet. Thank you.
One more time for listeners, more information about everything we've just discussed, the Chamber in general and more, cashchamber.com. And we'll be back with more of For the People after these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 5:30, and the news is brought to you by Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. A 34-year-old Logan man has been sentenced to jail and probation for assaulting a woman during a dispute last spring. Reuben Zane Johnson was ordered to serve 67 days in jail, but given credit for time already served. Johnson was sentenced Wednesday morning in First District Court in Logan. He previously accepted a plea deal, pleading guilty to 2 counts of aggravated assaults, one a second-degree felony and the other a third-degree felony. On June 2nd, Logan City Police were called to an apartment in downtown Logan on a report of a domestic dispute in progress. Neighbors had reported hearing screaming coming from the residence. The victim told police Johnson had tried to strangle her multiple times, pulled her hair, and used a machete to threaten to kill her. He also blocked her from leaving the apartment, locking the door and threatening her with other knives. The woman was eventually transported to the hospital to be evaluated by medical staff. During Wednesday's sentencing, defense attorney Michael McGinnis said the facts in Johnson's case were very disturbing and out of character. He blamed his client's actions on substance abuse. Johnson briefly expressed remorse to the victim and said he wanted to do everything he could to right his wrongs. Judge Brian Cannell sentenced Johnson to 2 months of jail, followed by probation. He also ordered him to continue drug treatment and warned that if he failed to change his life, he is looking at a possible prison sentence. Every year, Utah Governor Spencer Cox receives a report on land, air, and water in Utah. It informs a lot of the legislative process and the governor's priorities. On KVNU's For the People program last week, Anna McIntyre, managing director of the Janet Quinney Lawson Institute for Land, Water, and Air at USU, said they don't do the research in the institute. Their job is to be a linchpin between the university and policymakers.
And so that's kind of a fun job and one that I love because it's my job to go around to our many, many, many researchers at Utah State and say, what's going on? What's interesting? How do we say that in a way that policymakers will understand?
McIntyre said she started to refer to herself as a translator as opposed to a research communicator.
One thing that I will say is researchers at Utah State are eager and wanting to figure out how to get that language correct. They want to make sure that their work is being used and understood by people who make decisions.
She said it helps having someone who has worked at the federal and state level, such as the Institute's executive director, Brian Steed.
And Brian has spent an entire career at the federal and the state level. He knows the players in those areas, and he understands the language. And my career has been internal to the university. I've been with the Office of Research and now with the Institute for 20 years now, getting to know the researchers at the university. So with Brian and I together, talking to each other, trying to understand the needs of the state and the capacity of the researchers, it's been a nice partnership where we've been able to work together to bring those two things together.
In addition to being executive director this past spring, Steed was appointed by Governor Cox as the Great Salt Lake Commissioner. McIntyre said that's been great for Utah State University as it has put the school on the front lines of helping to inform and understand issues, specifically with the Great Salt Lake. KVNU News Time is 5:34.
My hearing started to go right around the same time my wife started naming off all the upgrades she wanted done on the house. I figured it was selective hearing. To be honest, I was actually pretty upset when it was suggested that I might need hearing aids, but ultimately I knew it was time for a change.
At Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology, we can help you regain the confidence that you're hearing life the way it was meant to be heard.
Bring back what you've been missing. Bring back Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology.
Visit CacheHearing.com for details.
Israeli Defense Forces ramping up their attack in the south against Hamas and to the north against Hezbollah. And more info on the Hamas attack over the weekend from New York Democratic Congressman Dan Goldman, who says he was in Tel Aviv.
We had to rake everybody up and scramble to an internal stairwell within 90 seconds in order to protect ourselves from the possibility of rockets coming in from Gaza Strip towards Tel Aviv. And it really brings into stark relief exactly what Israelis deal with every day of every year.
In the Mideast, working to free Americans and others taken hostage by Hamas, Secretary of State Antony Blinken.
We're also working with countries throughout the region who may have relationships, who may have influence, who may have leverage with Hamas to use that leverage in favor of getting the hostages home, getting them out. And that's a conversation I'll be continuing as I move on from Israel.
Secretary of State Blinken with continuing coverage, Israel at war. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
KVNU weather for tonight, mostly cloudy, slight chance of rain showers this evening, then partly cloudy after midnight, patchy fog overnight, low in the low 30s. Sunshine during the day tomorrow, high around 60, partly cloudy, mid-60s on Saturday. Spin to 46 is all. It's 45 right now at KVNU. Be sure to call Whole Tree Care. They trim, shape, and remove trees. 435-760-6587. You can always get more news at CacheValleyDaily.com.
Elements has delicious lunch specials. Soup, salad, and bread for just $10 is tasty and quick. Elements lunch menu is full of scrumptious items. Wood-fired pizzas are an excellent choice that include barbecued chicken and the bee's knees. The fresh battered halibut fish and chips with seasoned fries is always a hit. And don't forget the fan favorite, Chipotle fried chicken sandwich. Thursdays, enjoy Elements house-made smoked brisket. Casual or professional. Open Monday through Thursday, 11:30 to 8 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11:30 to 9. Visit theelementsrestaurant.com for reservations.
When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
Daryl's Appliance provides the best repair service. Daryl's techs are trained to pre-diagnose your repair problem before they arrive at your home, so it can be completed on their first trip. As a plus, Daryl's parts department is stocked from A to Z for you do-it-yourselfers. And Daryl's has used parts to save you money. Dishwasher baskets, bake elements, microwave trays, and more. For sales and service since 1970, it's Daryl's Appliance, west on Airport Road.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. I'm really excited about our next guest. A chance for us to step outside of what we traditionally talk about here on the show, which is politics and opinion and the news of the day. But this is news because this is an event coming up this Saturday that many of you listening are going to want to be a part of, and also has some ties to the radio group. If you are a longtime listener of Cool 103.9, you'll know the name Dave Denton. He's going to come up here in a bit as we talk about this. So stick with us. Joining us right now to talk about this event, again, happening Saturday night here in Cache Valley, Manny Smith, who is an independent wrestler here in Utah and is also the owner of an organization called Devotion Championship Wrestling. And Manny, a pleasure to have you join us here on the show today. If you can, start us off, maybe tell us about the event and how this ended up happening.
Yeah, absolutely, boss. Thanks for having me on. Well, it's, my wrestling name is Manny Lemons. It's your boy, the man, the brand, the king of the lemonade stand.
I like it.
Zest of the best, and you know the rest. And we are here to talk about the rest. And that's obviously, I'm the owner of Devotion Championship Wrestling. We have a event going down this Saturday out of Cache County called the Cache Valley Throwdown. Our friends at Mountain Force Entertainment are bringing us in as a sponsored show, so it's going to be something fun and entertaining for the entire community of Logan, Utah. We did a few lucha shows out there, so we're really hoping to make this more of a regular thing, and the only way we could do that is by bringing our brand to the forefront and getting the awareness of our product out there, and this is definitely a good start to do it,
Well, and this is such a unique event because, having had a chance to see this type of thing before myself, and Dave and I used to talk about this all the time in person, and occasionally he'd join us here on the show. There's so much talent involved with doing this right. It's to do this in a way that is done well and is entertaining for the crowd and is authentic. There's a lot of athleticism involved. There's a lot of training involved, and it's all on display at one of these live events, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you said it yourself. There's a lot that goes into making it a legit and a unique product. I mean, one of the biggest things about the industry that I'm in is professional wrestling. Is a lot of people think that they contradict it to being a fake fight, which
sure.
So it's like we're already battling that audience to. We're an entertainment industry. We're here to present a product and present a story, and to go out there and to do that, it takes a lot of skill and it takes a lot of performance. I mean, a lot of my guys, my biggest thing is I've been in business for 5 years. Out of Devotion Championship Wrestling, we're run out of Salt Lake City, and again, we're trying to expand all throughout Utah. But the biggest thing for me, man, is I want to be a superstar. I want to be the next Dwayne Johnson. I want to be the next John Cena. In order to do that, I have to learn from the best, and I brought that. I've traveled all over the country, and I brought that to my community here in Salt Lake City. And, that's the type of entertainment you're going to get this Saturday night is going to be top-notch product because we've trained and prepared so long to get to that point, So
sure.
It's not that's one of the things. Wrestling is that contradiction because there's a lot. Anyone can go buy a ring and call themselves a wrestler. It takes a special person to create a product and to create a brand to call themselves superstars.
Sure.
We're not wrestlers. We're professional wrestling superstars. So
and to draw the crowds that you consistently draw at your events. And Manny, I had to laugh at FanX in Salt Lake City a couple of weeks ago. They had a ring down there, and they had a sign that said, Think it's fake? ? Join us. And they were letting people get in the ring with professional wrestlers, and they would teach them how to take a fall and things like that. But here was the part that stood out to me. To get in the ring, you had to sign a waiver.
Yep.
And that really drives it home that this is, to do this well, to do this safely, to do this in an entertaining way requires that training, that athleticism. How long have you been doing this?
Man, I've been doing it too long. I've been doing it about 11 years now. But
wow,
I mean,
really?
Yeah, so that's the thing too, though, is like I played football growing up my entire life. So like I would consider myself to be an elite athlete because I train every day. I'm in the gym all the time. But pro wrestling is the hardest thing I've ever had to endure, man, because like you said, like we have to have people sign a waiver because you are physically impacting your body whenever you smack the mat and take that bump or take that fall. And one of the contradicting things is that when you go to take that bump, you're however old you are. So I'm 31. So that's 31 years of me. My natural instinct as a human being is to catch myself whenever I try to fall. So if you go to slip on a fall, like a sheet of ice or something, your natural instinct is to catch yourself so you don't hurt. In professional wrestling, we teach ourselves to take the impact. So throughout time, you just kind of develop callus and you develop an awareness of what the impact is. So that way it becomes second nature, but you're really teaching your body to take the pain. Nothing we do is fake, That's why you have to have a waiver because like sometimes people get in the ring and they'll take a bump and you'll never see them again. That's how I weed people out, honestly, in my facility is, like people say, oh, I watch it on TV. I do this all the time. But it's like, well, okay, we'll take a bump.
That's right.
Take a bump, then we can start talking. That's when I take people a little bit more seriously. It's like, okay, you survived the bump. Okay, maybe you really are as passionate as this business as you say you are. No,
sure.
So let's move.
And you are involved in that side of this as well, Manny. You mentioned your facility there, through your experience, you're actually helping to train the current and the next generation of professional wrestlers here in Utah, and you operate a facility there in Salt Lake City, right?
Yeah, so we have a training facility. Our training center is called the Al Snow Wrestling Academy of Utah, and Al Snow actually, if you watch The Wrestler on Netflix, he's the main feature of that show. He has a territory out here in Utah. We leaked on with him during the pandemic in 2020. But we're out there training the superstars of tomorrow, man, because my mission of becoming a professional wrestler is you gotta give a little. In order to take a little, you gotta give back. So we gotta give back to the community. We gotta give back to that next generation. And for us to do that, we gotta create the next generation of stars,
Sure.
And that's like, like when I was a kid and I was a fan of the industry before I ever got into it, I had no idea independent wrestling existed. All I knew about was WWE. So now that we have a product here in Utah and it's starting to grow and it's starting to expand, we have the ability to branch out and create that awareness for, maybe that little kid who goes to the WWE event and says, oh, man, I want to be a wrestler. That's all I ever want to do. Maybe that's the next John Cena. Maybe that's the next Dwayne Johnson, We have that ability, and we've created that awareness with our brand and our product here in Salt Lake. So,
and if you've never seen one of these in person, do it at least once in your life. It's so fun to see, and the excitement of the crowd. The Cache Valley Throwdown again happening this Saturday, October 14th. Doors open at 6, the bell at 7, and this is at the Hanson Family Sports Complex in North Logan. It's cheap as well. General admission $15 for adults, $10 for kids, and there's a VIP ticket available for $25. Presented by Rockstar Energy Drink and Mountain Force Live Streaming. Our guest again, Manny Lemons of the professional wrestling fame here in Utah, bringing the Cache Valley Throwdown to Cache Valley, the first ever live pro wrestling event here in Cache Valley. And again, that's this Saturday at the Hanson Family Sports Complex with doors opening at 6. Manny, I heard a rumor. You got a pretty famous local celebrity here in Cache Valley for that ringside announcing, Mr. Dave Denton.
Yes, sir. We got Mr. Dave Denton coming out of retirement.
That's right.
He used to do a couple. He's done a couple of shows for us in Salt Lake. It's just the travel from Salt Lake to Logan is so far for him, and him doing his personal stuff or whatnot. But I'm glad we were able to link up and make him a part of this event. So it'll be something truly special for the entire Cache Valley.
I'm excited about that. Dave's voice and Dave's knowledge of the sport itself of wrestling is just a real get for that ringside announcing. And for longtime listeners to the radio group here, you'll know Dave's voice from mornings at Cool 103.9 for years. He does host a podcast, though. It's with episodes regularly uploaded, Turnbuckle Trash. You can find that podcast. And Manny, where do you hope to go with this as it grows? As the crowds grow, do you see this being one day on par with some of the biggest sporting events that come to town? It's gaining a reputation and steam quickly.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. When I do anything in my life, I got to do it the best of my abilities to make it the best. Well, that's in everything I do in my life. So for me to be I'm a wrestler first and foremost. However, my intentions of being a wrestling promoter and a wrestling teacher and whatever you want to call me in that classified, it's to elevate the business and make it big. I have no doubt in my mind in the next couple of years that Devotion Championship Wrestling could be one of the top contenders in the industry, and even now being a good form of entertainment for the Utah community. But I consider myself, my talent, to be on the level of the Utah Jazz. So whenever you come to an event, like we're that caliber of entertainment, and that's the goal, and that's to have something like that's never been done before. That's where I want to take this product.
Sure, and your commitment shows. The calendar for Devotion Wrestling, which listeners you can find via the Devotion Championship Wrestling website or Facebook page. Sorry, I've linked to that on our own Facebook page, or just simply Google Devotion Championship Wrestling. You'll find it there that way as well. You're hosting a Halloween Bash event in Salt Lake last weekend, and then up here this weekend. The next weekend, you're back in Salt Lake. Then you're off to other parts of Utah. This is something it appears that Devotion Wrestling rarely takes a weekend off.
Yeah, that's the goal. And then the thing is with that too, it's like, again, like I said, I'm a wrestler first and foremost. So if it's not Devotion Championship Wrestling, it's me wrestling, going to work with WWE or going to work with AEW or Impact or going to work an indie event around the circuit, wherever that may be. I work every weekend somewhere, some form. So it's, that's just part of the business and part of the way that we do things. We just got to keep staying relevant and keep getting out there and getting more consistent with our body of work. And that's just how we do it. It's just repetition, Sure.
How often or how long do you, let me rephrase this a third time. How many hours does the average pro wrestler here in Utah put into training each week?
So each week, man, we train. So our facility is open 3 days a week, Tuesday through Thursday. And that we train from anywhere from 5:30 till sometimes 9, 10 p.m. at night.
Wow.
And that's just the actual in-ring training. I mean, to be a professional and to be a star in the industry, it takes the weight room. I work out twice a day. So I go in the morning and I'll go in the afternoon before I head to my facility. And if I'm not doing that, it's on the road. When I'm on the road, I'll stop. I'll see where I'm going, and I'm driving. I'll stop. I'll pull over to a Planet Fitness. I'll get a workout in. I'll get a shower. Then I'll continue on with my venture, So you're always training. You're always learning. And you're always building yourself. And it's not just that, too, though. It takes a lot of social media awareness, creating yourself, creating your product, because we're in a world now where social media can make you famous and make you a big star. And that's, it's a whole wind of work that goes into a blender that really takes it to be a professional in this world.
I admire your commitment to it and your professionalism, and I love seeing this long list of events you've got going. This is a really unique experience. Again, if you've never been, definitely go. If you've been before, this is not one to miss. The first official live pro wrestling event here in Cache Valley this Saturday at the Hanson Family Sports Complex. 6 p.m. doors open, 7 p.m. the bell. It's cheap, $15 general admission, $10 for kids. There's a VIP ticket with some behind the scenes, or behind the ring, I guess we should say, access for $25. It's presented by Rockstar Energy Drink and Mountain Force Live Streaming. And our guest, again, founder of the organization behind this, touring the state on a regular basis, Devotion Championship Wrestling. You can find them on Facebook. I've linked to that on our own Facebook page. And the lineup for Saturday night, our guest here, Manny Lemons, will actually be a part of it. Slasher Slade, Fox Taylor, Brett Buffshay, Andrus, Reina, King of Dragons, Bonesaw William Cutting, and ringside announcing by local celebrity voice you've heard every cruise in for years up until recently. Dave Denton coming out of retirement to do the ringside announcing Saturday evening. Again, doors open at 6. Tickets available via the Facebook page and the website. I've linked to it all on our Facebook page. And Manny Lemons, owner of Devotion Devotion Championship Wrestling. This is a treat to have you on the show, and I hope we have an excuse to do it again soon.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Anytime, man. I love doing this type of stuff. And I appreciate the plug and appreciate you getting the product and awareness out there, and I hope to see everyone out there this Saturday night.
Absolutely. Like I say, if you've never been, don't miss it. If you've been, don't miss it. Devotion Championship Wrestling, bringing the first ever live pro wrestling event to Cache Valley, the Cache Valley Throwdown, this Saturday, October 14th, starting at 6 p.m. with the doors opening at the Hanson Family Sports Complex. Thanks again to Manny Lemons, our guest, to our good friend Dave Denton, who I know is out there listening. I can't wait to hear you on that ringside announcing Mike Saturday night. And we'll be back with more of For the People right after this.
The annual Cache Business Women's Conference is Wednesday, November 1st at the Riverwoods Conference Center. This year's theme is Building Together and will include learning, networking, fantastic food, and vendors. Keynote speakers are Becky Potts, Vice President of Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco, Diana Sabo, new Director of Athletics at USU, and Rachel Cottom, Head of Content at Lexion. Tailored for women professionals and entrepreneurs, the Cache Business Women's Conference is Wednesday, November 1st. Register now at cashchamber.com. That's cashchamber.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keith Nelson, board-certified, fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeon, and I want to restore your active, pain-free life. I've been an innovator in the treatment of knee pain caused by arthritis and sports injuries for 27 years. I'm the only surgeon in northern Utah to offer Omnibotics, a robotic-assisted knee replacement for your arthritic knee, which has a 97% patient satisfaction rate. Don't live with your knee pain another day. Visit drkeithnelsonortho.com. That's drkeithnelsonortho.com.
Did you know a block dryer vent is a real fire hazard? According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, there are tens of thousands of dryer exhaust duct fires annually, leading to many injuries and death. You should have your dryer hose and the area around it cleaned once a year, and inspect the vent and hose for any blockages at least every 6 months. Don't wait for disaster to strike because your dryer vent is blocked. Give John Henson a call at the Duct Hunter. Call 770-4813 today.
Breathe better, save money, protect your home. We are the Duct Hunter.
Welcome back to KVN News For the People. A lot of fun talking with Manny there. Dave Denton used to join us on the show when he was here every day at the station before, as Manny said, the retirement that now he's coming out of to do some ringside announcing Saturday night for this Cache Valley Throwdown. But,
and he brought us some. He used to bring us some action heroes once in a while.
Yeah, I've still got my John Cena. I've still got that sitting on a shelf at home. And Dave's a collector. And Dave, he can talk about comic books. He can talk about movies. He can talk about music. In fact, he's a walking music encyclopedia.
Oh, for sure.
But one of Dave's best kept secrets for years is that he can also talk about professional wrestling. A real appreciator of wrestling as an art. And as Manny said, it gets a bad rap because, it's fake. It's fake. Well, I'm sorry. Every TV show you watch is fake. And I'll be honest with you, the athleticism, I guarantee none of us listening right now, none of us here in the studio could do what these guys do without ending up in the hospital.
Wonder if we could do our shows from the hospital. Maybe not. I don't know.
I'm surprised it hasn't come up yet with our advanced age.
Yeah, and advanced age on top of advanced technology now.
That's right. No, I think honestly that this is a sport, and it is a sport, or an art if you prefer. Some people don't like to use the word sport because it's scripted. It's planned out. But there are unexpecteds. I still call it a sport because it requires that athleticism and it requires that training. It requires everything, an athlete in something you would more likely call a sport has to do. And so I think the word sport applies, even though, the narrative that you'll see play out has already been set and scripted. To pull it off and to make it look authentic and to make it entertaining, I think that's the hardest part. It requires a lot of talent. And so I'm excited that Cache Valley is getting on the map with some of these events. And again, Devotion Championship Wrestling bringing the first ever professional wrestling event to Cache Valley with the Cache Valley Throwdown, they're calling it. And that's happening this Saturday, October 14th, 6 p.m., doors open, 7 p.m. the bell, and that's at the Hanson Family Sports Complex in North Logan. It's go out and support this. It's fun to have different things come to town, and as you just heard, Manny Lemon's a pretty fun guy, so he'll kind of be organizing the whole thing and performing that night in the ring, and our good friend Dave Denton again doing ringside announcing. So. Hate to throw this on everybody right in the last few seconds of our show today, but that's it for this week for the People. We'll be back next week. We have a Meet the Candidates event at Logan City. We'll be doing on Wednesday. We'll try and get to the rest of the Logan City Council candidates prior to Wednesday. We'll also check in again with our friends at CAPSA and more coming up next week on the show. Tomorrow, though, no movie show, no For the People. Instead,
Aggies.
Yeah, we're happy to turn the mics over to him, but instead, this time frame, you'll be able to hear Al Lewis, the pregame, and then the Aggies. So go Aggies. We'll see you Monday. Dave Ramsey.
You can rest your voice.
That's right. My voice will be normal by the time I'm back Monday. Dave Ramsey next here on KVNU.